Hey, what is up, guys? Today I'm going to be talking to you about the best podcasting app for Android. Now, I've tested a few, and I've narrowed it down to Player FM and Pocket Casts. Okay, so let's just go through the basic interface first. Let's start with Player FM. So as you can see, it has your subscription in the middle. It has a play later list, which is basically what you save into a play later list. And then it has a discover section all in one screen. It's a little bit dense, yes, it's not exactly simple, but if you're somebody who, you know, adds a bunch of new podcasts a lot to their list, I'd say this is a pretty nice way of doing it. Um, Also, they have these swipe gestures, which I think are pretty cool, where if you swipe this way, you can mark it as played, and if you swipe this way, you can add it to your list. And if you're on the play later list, if you swipe this way, it removes it from your list. And if you swipe the other way on a podcast that's already played, you can mark it unplayed, and vice versa. So you can also split this little grid into a list, which will group individual podcasts instead of by series by when they came out. And I won't lie, it gets a little overwhelming. There's a lot to see here if you do it this way, if you have a lot of podcasts. Um, but yeah, it's a pretty nice interface. It's a little bit dense. You can't swipe from subscription to Discover, and that's probably because if you were to try to swipe back, you might end up clicking done or add to list or remove from list here. So I think it kind of makes sense. But it would have been nice to see some kind of way to access it easier than having to tap all the way to the top. Now let's go to Pocket Cast. Pocket Cast takes a slightly different approach, but it's a little bit similar. So as you can see, it's just the grid here, and that's pretty much all there is to this screen. It's meant to kind of take you right away to the podcast that you listen to. And if you swipe over this way, you can tell there's a Discover screen, and there's also starred episodes and downloaded episodes, or episodes, I guess is the right word for podcast, right? So yeah, it's meant more as a simpler interface, something that maybe would be nicer to use in a car, for example. Something that you're supposed to click on once or twice, and then put it in your pocket, and you're good to go until the next episode, and you can switch to the next episode really easily. The Discover, I feel like, is also a lot nicer, whereas the Discover for Player FM is a bit crowded, I guess. And they do have a catalog section, which does things a little bit better, but takes a lot of load, first of all. And it doesn't feel quite as polished. And that's pretty much the description of it in general. Player FM and Pocket Cast do a lot of the same functions, but Player FM is much more polished, and it feels like a cleaner, simpler interface. Let's go to the play section. That's pretty important. So as you can see, the uh, Player FM play section is pretty simple to navigate. The play icon is huge, which I think is great. Again, in a car especially. And if you go to landscape, that's what it looks like. Where the play icon gets smaller. Not a fan of that, but it's fine. And then there's 30 seconds back and 30 seconds forward, and previous and next episode on the bottom there. There's also a timer, and there is a speed control. It says not available for this episode, but if I were to close the app and start the episode over again, it will show up. It's been available for every episode. It's just done this strange glitch where it says advanced audio is not available. First time, not entirely sure why. You can also go to play settings and continuous play and full screen player, so on and so forth. Now, if you look at the Pocket Cast play section, it's pretty similar. Um, there's the play icon, 30 seconds back, 10 seconds back, 30 seconds forward, which is interesting. Um, there's a show notes depending on what you're watching at the moment. I believe Player FM actually also has that. Um, yep, just click on the title of the episode and it'll show up. Now, both of them have cast support as well. So, what you're really paying for here is the interface. I find Pocket Cast has a nicer interface, but I will leave the description. I'll leave the link to both of them in the description. And the thing is, Player FM is free, and Pocket Cast isn't. And I feel like that might serve as a pretty big difference in terms of um, what you might want to buy for some people. Basically, if you know what you like and you have those podcasts already, and that's what you want to listen to, and you're not looking for anything new at the moment, then I would say you might want to go with Pocket Cast because it has this interface that presents your podcast right to you. Now, Player FM, on the other hand, while it does have that as well, it also seems to um, encourage discovery a bit more, which not at all a bad thing in my opinion, but it does seem to have a more crowded interface. Also worth noting, um, Player FM in landscape mode is very crowded. It takes up a lot of the room, unless you're going for Discover, where it would hide them, where the top and the bottom hide themselves as you scroll down. But unless you have a lot of podcasts here, or you go in list mode, you're going to end up seeing your podcast through a very small window. Now, Pocket Casts, while on the Discover section, does a very similar thing. Excuse me. While on the Discover section does a pretty similar thing. But when you're here, because there's no tabs and it's just your podcast view, it does look a lot cleaner and shows you your podcast. And you can make the grid smaller or bigger to see. You can see, as you can see here, I can see all my podcasts right now. Now, personally, I prefer to use Pocket Casts. I think that is the superior app, but it's also, I believe, $2.99 on the apps on the Google Play Store. I might be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it's $2.99. Whereas Player FM is free and also is a free web client, whereas the Pocket Cast web client is a one-time cost of $9. Now, the web client I believe is superior for Pocket Cast as well, but again, with Player FM, it's amazing the value of the product you get for the money. So, be sure to pick up whichever app you think is best, and you know, be sure to like like the video if you liked it, and subscribe. Oh, and also, I think I forgot to mention, Pocket Cast does also have the audio effects: playback speed, remove silence, volume boost, so on and so forth. Oh, worth noting, the remove silence seems to work a lot better for Pocket Casts than Player FM. So if that's important to you, there you go. Anyways, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching.